The recent spike in tensions between China and Japan has evolved into one of the most serious diplomatic confrontations in East Asia in recent years. The crisis began after Japan's newly elected Prime Minister, Sanai Takaichi, stated on the 7th of November that any Chinese military action against Taiwan could threaten Japan's survival, implying the possibility of Japanese military intervention. This marks an unprecedented shift, as Japanese leaders have historically maintained strategic ambiguity on Taiwan. China reacted sharply, demanding a retraction, banning Japanese seafood imports, issuing travel advisories, and accusing Japan of planning missile deployments on Yonaguni Island near Taiwan. Meanwhile, Chinese Coast Guard vessels have increased patrols around the Diaoyu, Senkaku Islands, intensifying maritime frictions. Beijing has warned that any Japanese intervention in Taiwan would be viewed as an act of aggression. China's response must also be understood in the context of historical memory. Japan's colonial rule over Taiwan from 1895 to 1945 and its brutal occupation of Chinese territories during the Second World War remain deeply embedded in China's national consciousness. Taiwan's return to Chinese control after Japan's defeat, followed by its separation during the 1949 Chinese Civil War, created today's complex political reality. Taiwan is self-governed but claimed by China as a core sovereignty issue. Most countries, including the US, acknowledge the One China policy, even as they maintain unofficial ties with Taipei. For decades, the fragile status quo defined by China's claims, Taiwan's de facto autonomy, and America's strategic ambiguity prevented conflict. Despite political mistrust, China and Japan are economically interdependent, with annual bilateral trade exceeding $300 billion. However, the emergence of Ms. Takaichi, a known nationalist, along with China's aggressive countermeasures, risks deepening hostility across diplomatic, economic, and military domains. An immediate resolution of the Taiwan question is unrealistic. In the current global environment, already strained by conflicts in Europe and the Middle East, a destabilized East Asia would carry severe global consequences. Therefore, preserving the status quo is essential to maintaining peace in the Taiwan Strait. China and Japan must prioritize de-escalation and focus on economic cooperation rather than brinkmanship. The United States, bound to Japan through a security treaty, must balance deterrence with diplomacy to prevent miscalculation and ensure that the region does not slip into a wider conflict.